So guys, I'm back with another video. This is RJ Game News USA here, and today we gotta talk about these flock cameras because honestly, these flock cameras are really fucking bad. There was this great video here from Optimus that we're gonna react to a little bit of, talking about flock cameras, and I want to give my two thoughts on it because honestly, this is completely ridiculous and it's a complete invasion of our privacy. So if you like this kind of content, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's just jump right into it and play the clip.
I made a video talking about this a couple of weeks ago. We talked about how there has been this more growing sentiment of frustration surrounding this entire flock network that's getting set up everywhere. The more that people seem to be becoming aware of what exactly flock is, what flock safety does, it seems like at least the more controversy is being created, which in my opinion is a good thing. I do think it's good that people are finally kind of coming around to the idea that this stuff needs to have something done about it, and people are talking about it and just kind of...
I feel like this kind of happened overnight. Like, I didn't know about it, and then all of a sudden, boom, there it is. All of a sudden, we're in a super surveillance state beyond belief.
Getting initiated when it comes to what is going on with this. Now, for those of you who are uninitiated with this entire topic, I'm going to go ahead and give you a brief explanation of what these flock cameras and what flock safety is. So flock safety is a company, a private company, that is working with thousands of police departments, government agencies, local municipalities across the United States. They're setting up these license plate reader cameras.
I already have a problem with this right off the bat. Why do we keep going to private entities for public good? Like, first of all, even if you're a Democrat, even if you're somebody that believes in big government, wouldn't you be against private companies being the ones running something? Shouldn't this be a public endeavor if it was going to be to begin with? I don't want private companies having all that data.
Your local officials sign a deal with this company, Flock Safety, and then Flock comes and installs these cameras along the roadways, on the easements, embankments, and they will monitor and then store all of that information. And if you drive around your area, you probably have already seen them, even if you don't know necessarily what they are, but they're these new, tall, black posts that are getting put up along the road. They pretty much always have a camera on them facing the road. It probably wasn't there like 6 months ago. I mean, even in the last couple of weeks, I have been seeing new cameras in my area popping up. So this is an ongoing thing, and it seems like it is accelerating the pace at which these are getting put up. So at least as of right now, according to online sources, there are...
This is just like the data centers. We fought against the data centers. People are starting to wake up to data centers. We need them to wake up to this flock camera stuff. No one voted for this. Nobody asked for this. Okay? Nobody wants this. That's a regular person.
There are anywhere from over 80,000 to maybe even 100 or 120,000 of these cameras that have been set up nationally. And they scan your license plate automatically. They monitor details about your vehicle as you travel on the roadways without your consent and usually without your knowledge. The information about your vehicle is then saved to Flock's cloud. They have a data cloud where images of your vehicle, all the details that are, put in the database about you will be stored. It is then shared with thousands of police departments and towns and whatnot. This is done without your knowledge or your consent. So essentially,
and again,
when you're driving...
The people, we're supposed to be represented by the government. The police are supposed to serve and protect. This is not serve and protecting. This is data mining and controlling. It's an Orwellian state. This should never be allowed to happen. If you put this up for a public vote, it would get shot down. And 99% of the time, people that are on the road are good, law-abiding citizens. And they would shoot this down.
through your neighborhood and the flock camera picks you up doing so, all of that information about you is now being telegraphed to virtually most, if not all, of the major police departments and towns and municipalities in your area and across the country. This is a nationalized digital surveillance system. That's exactly what this is. Now, the network is still, like I said, being constantly expanded.
Now, we're supposed to have a federal government. That means separated out levels. We're not supposed to have national systems like this in place. State governments should be fighting against this. If your state government believes in liberty of the people, they should be fighting against this. If your local government supports liberty in the people, they should be fighting against this. And I know what the argument is. Oh, RJ, if you're not a criminal, why do you care about flock cameras being up? Okay, that's the same deal as, okay, why don't you go ahead and give out your social security number, go give out your license plate, go get out all your information to random people. I'm sure they won't abuse it anyway, right? I'm sure the cops won't use this to abuse this in any way. I'm sure you won't get in trouble for something you didn't do thanks to AI in any certain kind of way, right? How many people would you let watch your children? That's how many people you should know about your personal information. Right? Am I right?
There's constantly new ones being put up in areas that have already made deals with flock safety. There are new deals that are coming with flock safety from municipalities and local governments. So as this whole thing has kind of continued to go on and people are starting to really kind of realize what it is, what exactly is going on here, they are still installing these cameras and putting them up. And the more that people are becoming aware of them, the more that the details, the fine details on what exactly is being collected data-wise, the data security issues, the more that this becomes publicized, the more people seem to be getting pissed off, right? There are now multiple nationwide grassroots efforts, both politically and vigilante, to stop this expansion of Flock's network. You have...
By the way, you recently had Trump come out and say, we have to convince people that AI data centers are good because they're coming regardless. No, they don't have to. The politician that runs against flock cameras and data centers will win the presidency. But none of them will, because both parties are bought and paid for, and this is a uniparty measure for surveillance and control and grabbing power. Okay? We must have a candidate or somebody or a group or states or individuals that come together and say no to AI data centers, no to flock cameras. This is all bullshit and should have never happened to begin with without the consent of the people. And even if you had the consent of the people, that still leaves the people that wouldn't want to be observed, the people that wouldn't want to be surveilled, because this is not a majority issue, this is a liberty issue, in my opinion. Anyway.
Have people showing up at their local city hall meetings. You have people who are petitioning their local governors and other officials and, county officials to prevent these things from being installed or to remove them in already installed areas. Now, while people are making headwaves in the political scene with this entire thing, there is a generally online presence of people who are communicating themselves and even in some instances recording themselves going around and cutting down these posts, vandalizing the cameras, hitting the cameras with lasers to burn the components inside of them, covering them in spray paint, putting bags over top of them, running the whole thing over with their car. And there have been numerous instances now of police departments around the country essentially begging the public for help in finding the vandals of these flock cameras, which is right?
That's rich.
I kind of want to expand on that point because
that's rich. They want the public to go help find the vandals of these cameras. The public they want to spy on. Too fucking bad.
find it actually really funny. So, like I said, a lot of people are going around and vandalizing flock cameras, and they're doing it in a myriad of ways. It's not just like, there's one method to doing this. There's a bunch of different ways that people are using, some of them more effective than others, and it's kind of causing a massive headache, not even just for flock safety, but for all these local municipalities, because you have a lot of these government officials who essentially signed over the locals without the locals knowing, making these backhanded deals without the public's knowledge or consent.
Which is ridiculous.
They just kind of assume that things are going to go great. They're going to get their surveillance tools. They're going to get to expand.
Again, we as America were built on the Boston Tea Party. We were built on revolution, revolt, individual freedom. We will never and should never lay down for the mass surveillance state they want to impose. Resist. Peaceful non-compliance, always the answer. Whether it was to COVID, or whether it was to AI, or whether it was to anything that goes on in society that wants to sit there and take your rights away from you. You have rights as Americans, God damn it, to fight against this.
Expand this surveillance network against people. They're going to get some kickbacks probably at some point, or make some money off the whole thing, as every politician does with all.
And all the politicians who sold their soul for the money, I hope they enjoy it when they sit burning in hell. Fuck you. Fuck you for selling out our country.
Their deals that they make. But instead of everybody just kind of keeling over and accepting it and, just dealing with the ramifications of it, you have people going around and actually doing something about it. And this has led to, like I said, these police are baffled. They have no idea what to do. I mean, there's so many cameras being vandalized and people are obscuring themselves so well while they do it. The local police are having trouble doing anything. And isn't it ironic, because the whole reason this whole surveillance network is being set up, according to the police departments, according to Flock Safety, according to the officials that are signing these deals, they are establishing this in order to basically deter criminals. It's being done in order to catch people who are committing crimes and, bring the bad guys to justice. And that's supposed to be the reason that you sign over your constitutional amendments. That's the reason you're supposed to give up your right to privacy and the right to...
Ben Franklin once said, if you sign over your freedom for security, you deserve neither.
Travel freely without the government surveilling you. You're supposed to give that up because the flock cameras are going to catch the criminals. They're going to catch...
I don't care. Great, fine. I mean, catch criminals, whatever. This isn't how you do it. We've had a police force for decades and centuries that have caught criminals the old-fashioned way. We don't need a mass surveillance state. Why? What for?
Guys. But meanwhile, people are going around vandalizing these cameras en masse and are just fucking destroying them, tearing them down, running them over, painting over them, whatever, right? And they seem to have a whole lot of trouble catching these criminals that are doing this to the cameras. And, you'd have to think that if these flock cameras are so successful, if they're so effective at deterring and preventing crime, how is it that they seem to be a magnet for vandals to just come and fuck with and destroy, and they have to then beg the public for help? They don't go and review the other flock cameras and figure out what's going on. They don't use the other surveillance tools effectively. They then have to ask the public and beg them to basically be a traitor on their neighbor and turn them in against the whole thing, right? So, really ironic that even though these are all being put up, to monitor us and keep us safe.
This is supposed to be a camera that massively surveils everything, but it can't surveil its own destruction. Real effective, guys. If I were a judge, any case involving flock cameras would get thrown the fuck out. Any lawsuit against Flock would immediately be approved. I think we should have class action lawsuits. We should have legislation. We should have these cameras tore down. Legally. I think we need to do everything possible to have this removed and blocked at all costs. Local departments and state departments shouldn't be working with Flock. Flock should be banned. Fuck them for trying to take away our rights for a pretty buck. They really deserve their failure. And if we as Americans Don't sit down, lie down, and take it. We will stop them. We are stronger together than we are separated.
Protect us. They seem to do a really piss poor job at monitoring, protecting, and saving themselves from, I don't know, a teenager with a spray paint can? A guy with a laser he bought off eBay for $80? You know, I don't really know. Now, once again, there's all these claims from Flock Safety and from the police and all these other people that, you know, these Flock cameras being installed are going to deter crime. It's going to save people's lives. It's going to make society safer, bro. Meanwhile, there is no substantial evidence available to prove this claim. There's no, like, massive study that's been done that...
No, a criminal is going to be a criminal regardless of the surveillance state. The surveillance state only harms the general good public. You understand that, right? The general good public is only harmed when you institute new surveillances, new laws, and extra rules, and extra hoops and hurdles, and, you know, you turn the general public against its authoritative figures, which we clearly are and should be. Our government is corrupt. Our government is evil. Okay? And one day, my freedom of speech to say these things will be restricted. I will be persecuted for believing these things. You will be persecuted for even thinking these things. If we continue to let AI and we continue to let Flock cameras take control of this country because of some greedy fuckhead assholes, then we are going to lose what makes us American. We will turn into China. So I beg you, I implore you, call your local congressman. Get more involved with stopping these Flock cameras. I am starting today even more so. I wish I knew about this sooner. But now that I know, now that I'm informed, I must act. Me not acting is the same as me standing by and watching evil prevail. This cannot stand, and it will not stand. Thank you all for watching this video. But for now, this is RJ signing out. Have a good one.